This is a project video for a patio I built. It was relatively small. It was only 133 square feet or 7 by 19. I wanted the look of stamped concrete without the expense, and so I used that Quikcrete Walk Maker, which is usually designed for small walks. I used to fill the whole thing, and that each took about an 80-pound bag per one of those forms. And I'll give you a breakdown on my cost here. I had a couple yards of number 57 stone, 30 bags of 80-pound Quikcrete, 4 bags of joining sand, and then the added cost of stain and sealer. So the whole project cost around $500 to complete. So to start, I got my grade right. I used that probably 6 to 8 inches of that number 57 stone and made kind of a form or a border to do it to get everything where I wanted it. When I started forming the patio, I started in the corners. Some of the times I had to form it off-site and then move it because I couldn't get the form close enough to the house. And then filling those forms is pretty self-explanatory. You mix it up in a wheelbarrow ahead of time. You spread the concrete in with a shovel or your hand, like I was doing with gloves there. You fill the whole form up, and it takes almost the whole bag to fill a form. And then once you get it level, then you have to start in with a little trowel. So I started with the trowel, got everything smooth, tried to get it nice and tight to the edges of the form, which of course takes time. And then once you have that, you can draw the form. It leaves that little bit of an edge there. You got to kind of hand smooth it, and then repeat times 30 until you fill a whole patio. Then obviously each one takes a while to dry, so you try to keep that dry as it's curing. There's also some small spots where I had to get kind of creative and kind of hand make my own stone to fill in the gaps there across from or next to the house there. When it's all done, I let it cure for 2-3 weeks before it was ready for staining. At that point, I was ready to pressure wash the thing and get any of the stuff that collected over the last couple weeks in. And then I used an acid-based stain. In this case, I used a product by Eagle. They had a bunch of different color shades. This was rustic, which ended up being red, and the first coat didn't necessarily hold up real well. You can see how it kind of wore off within a week there. So I went over it again with a second color. This one wasn't so red, and I found it to be a much better color for what I was trying to go for. Then I went over it with Quikcrete's joining sand. So this product you put down, you brush on, and then you wet it with a hose, and then it cures into a hard-ish sand that holds the stone and everything together. And it actually does a decent job. I had a lot of good results with it. Some mixed reviews online, but it worked fine for me. And then I used a wet look Behr sealer, which is kind of a regular old product off the shelf at Home Depot. Not great. It looks pretty good, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Overall, this project was relatively straightforward, very time consuming but inexpensive. So if you have the time to kind of chip away at it, I think it turned out all right. You're not fooling anybody. They're not real pavers, and it's not stamped concrete. It's kind of something in between. But I thought for $500 and some time, I thought it's a decent result. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you kind of have a better idea of kind of a budget way of approaching a small patio like this.